Hi guys! Today I'm going to talk to you about the new movie, The Waterman. This movie is directed by and also stars David Oyelowo, as well as Rosario Dawson and these two incredible kids, Amaya Miller and Lonnie Chavis, and of course Alfred Molina does make a bit of an appearance as well. Now, like I said, this movie hits theaters this Friday, but let's talk about it. Now, before we get into it, I'd love it if you'd take 1 second, hit that subscribe button, head over to my main channel, Mama's Geeky, if you haven't already, and subscribe to that one as well. All right, let's talk about this movie. Hey, Tessa from Mama's Geeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. So one of my favorite things about this movie is that the young boy, Gunnar, who is played by Lonnie, well, listen, he's a comic book artist. He's a graphic novelist. He is working on this novel throughout the whole film, which is something that, of course, I really enjoy as a comic book nerd myself. Something else that really is cool that comes out of this is that along the way, some of the scenes kind of turn into drawings, I guess is the best way to put it. It kind of looks like the pages of a graphic novel. So, of course, I love that. And I thought that was really interesting and unique and brought a lot to this film. Now, the story is all about this young boy, Gunnar. His mom is sick and dying from cancer. That's Rosario Dawson. And, well, everyone seems to have given hope up on her, even her husband, who's played by David, and even her doctor. I mean, everyone is kind of giving up on her life, right? They're just giving her medicine to make her feel comfortable. Well, Gunnar is not going to give up hope on his mom. And when he learns of this legend in this new town that he lives in called the Waterman, he seeks out help to discover who this man is. Now, the legend of the Waterman goes that this man was drowned, and as well as his wife, and he had this rock that he had found under the earth, as his job was mining, and he had found this rock, and he had this rock with him, and the rock brought him back to life, so to speak. And so the legend goes that he's hunting his wife, trying to find his wife's body to bring her back. Now, Alfred Molina is the one who explains this story fully to young Gunnar, and of course he ends up finding this girl named Jo, who is a townie, kind of says she knows the forest, says she's had an encounter with the Waterman before and knows where to find him. So he says, please take me, I will pay you. And so the majority of this movie is this adventure and this journey that they go on through the fantastical, mystical forest, so to speak, in order to find the Waterman. Now, here's where this movie gets a little confusing. It's rated PG, but it most certainly feels like a PG-13 movie. I watched it with my 8-year-old, and she really zoned out the first half of the movie. It wasn't until they got into the thick of going through the journey that she perked up and kind of got really interested and entertained in the film. So I feel like this movie doesn't exactly know who it's for, right? With this PG rating, sure, PG, I mean, younger kids can watch it, but they're not going to be entertained by it, at least not for the most part, you know? It's a little confusing at times. Definitely when you get to the end of the journey, it's quite abrupt and confusing, which is another major problem I had with this. So it takes a minute. Like, the audience is going to have to take a second to, like, catch up and, wait, what just happened? What's going on? What was all this? That just, it almost makes the movie not worth watching, that ending. Almost. I said almost because this movie is worth watching. The cinematography is amazing. The acting is fantastic. I mean, David does a great job of both directing and starring in this. His chemistry with Rosario is great throughout every scene that they're in. They steal every scene that they're in. The kids are decent enough. I mean, for kid actors, they're really good, and my daughter definitely related to them, definitely was into their part of the story more than the adult part of the story. The journey itself is very interesting. There's definitely some tense moments between the music and the cinematography, and there's bugs, and I was freaking out. I mean, there's some moments that really intensify and bring the suspense. However, it kind of all falls flat when you get to that ending, and I don't want to give it away. It just wasn't what I expected, I guess, and it just kind of was like, wait, what? It makes the audience do like a double take, and you kind of go, well, why was I just watching this whole thing, sort of. But it is and does end up worth it to watch it, I would say, because the journey itself is great. The cinematography is great. When they're in the woods, it's really fantastical, and I love that aspect of it. There's not a whole lot of suspense, right? There's not a whole lot of danger where you feel concerned for these characters. But when it is there, it does do a good job of coming through. There's probably 2 or 3 moments that are like that, and that's it in this entire movie, which I would have expected more. Now, I will say this movie is only an hour and a half long, which is good. It is the perfect time for this movie. If they had tried to drag it out and add more stuff, it just would have made it worse. It just, like I said, there's moments that drag, it's slow, it takes a little while to get to where it's going, and then once it gets there, it is kind of like, oh, okay, oh, all right. That being said, again, the musical score is fantastic, helps heighten a lot of the suspenseful moments. They did a great job with that. I love the graphic novel illustrations throughout. I thought that was great. The overall message of the movie is fantastic, about not giving up hope. I do really enjoy that part of it as well. Parts of the journey are exciting and adventurous, although I would have liked a little bit more. The plot overall is intriguing and captivating, although the end of it was kind of like, a little bit of a letdown, but the acting is great. I mean, listen, I give The Waterman a 3 out of 5. I think it is definitely worth watching if you're into this sort of thing. Just if you're thinking of watching it with your kids, even though it has that PG rating, I really recommend this for ages 12 and up. If you have already seen The Waterman by the time you get to this review, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. If you are from my main channel, Mama's Geeky, thank you for coming over to Mama's Geeky Plus, where I'm going to put more content like this that just wouldn't perform as well on my main channel, so I'm sticking it here for you guys just so that you can learn about these films and check out these other interviews and stuff as well. So be sure to subscribe to this channel as well as my Mama's Geeky main channel, where I'll be putting more of my trailer reactions and high profile movies over there. I hope you enjoyed this review, and don't forget The Waterman comes out to theaters May 7th. Thank you so much to all of my monetary supporters, my members here on YouTube, as well as my patrons. If you haven't joined yet, please consider doing so. We have some really awesome perks, including a monthly Zoom meeting where we get to talk face to face. Thank you again to everyone who supports me.